Hello, coaster lovers. So roller coasters can be eye candy. Seeing that train going through the track can be entertaining. But if you're watching a top tier roller coaster cycle, they may have a really cool train design. There could be some gorgeous trains out there. So earlier this week, I grabbed 10 different roller coasters with a magnificent looking train and ranked all of them from worst to best. So before we start, if you're new here, make sure to subscribe and click the notification bell so you can be notified when we upload a new video. So before we start, none of these trains are bad, and this is all my opinion. They are all really good designs, but I had to narrow it down. So let's begin the list with the beautiful Intamin creation, Terran. This coaster is located at Fantasyland near Cologne, and its theming is just unmatchable. While going through the layout, the rockwork can have scary head choppers and some near misses while you're at it. The launches on these Intamin Blitz coasters are fantastic. I've done Maverick up at Cedar Point, and the second launch is amazing. It feels like you're launching into a black hole, but this ride doesn't have the same intensity as Maverick. But the theming makes it up in terms of ride experience. But it's hard to determine which ride is better. But going to the main part of the video, the trains for Terran are really good. It's like a ram, but it's not the best train in the world. The next place spot is actually two coasters that have the same train, but I decided to put both of them on this list. It's the Mach Extreme Spinners. These rides are Ride of Happiness at Plopsaland Japan and Time Traveler at Silver Dollar City, and these coasters are amazing. Ride of Happiness is a superior ride because you have a more intense ride experience and you have an uncontrollable spin, but with Time Traveler, the spin is controlled by a magnet. I will preface by saying Time Traveler does have a better placement than Ride of Happiness, because on Ride to Happiness, it's plopped onto a lake in the center of the park, but Time Traveler uses the train to perfection. The trains on both of these coasters are the same, and they have a really cool design. I like the trains. I do hope to experience these coasters someday. These coasters look wild. So going to the number 8 spot, I've talked about this coaster in a lot of my videos, but it had to take a spot on this list. It is Zadra. This is one of 3 hyper hybrids by RMC, and this train design is marvelous. It's like a dragon and it looks stunning. As for the ride experience, it's top tier. It's not Iron Gwazi though, but it's still better than 90% of the RMCs out there. This does have a shorter ride experience, but it's a quality ride. The first drop has great airtime all the way down, and the stall has some serious hang time. One element that I'm kinda starting to lower my expectations for is the S-hill before the last inversion. It goes by super quickly, and it might be kinda forgettable, but I do not want to repeat myself like I did to the prior videos I made talking about Zadra. So going to the number 7 spot, it's a newly opened coaster. It's Tron at Magic Kingdom. This spot also includes the one in China, and these trains look so futuristic. Seeing the train go through the quote-unquote indoor part is a spectacle. I also like how they light up at night. It makes the ride look way cooler. And while you're in the queue, you can see the ride launch while the train lights up to fit in with the audio, and it looks amazing. As for the ride itself, it looks like a good ride. I haven't seen the indoor part yet, so I cannot wait to experience this attraction. So going to the number 6 spot, this is a fantastic Woody. It's Oscar's Wacky Taxi. This is one of a handful of Gravity Group family Woodies, and this one is one of the best. This ride is actually worth it to the trip to Sesame Place alone. You also have an adorable train. I love the design of Oscar with a little worm on top. For the ride itself, it's a great Woody. The airtime hills deliver great ejector, and it's kind of forceful. You just get dragged over every hill, and that is what makes this coaster so good. I hope I get to experience this coaster someday. It might be a little bit embarrassing because the main clientele for this park is for kids, but if you ignore that, you'll have a fun time. So let's go international for our number 5 spot. I haven't talked about this coaster in a while. It's Conda at Wallaby, Belgium. This is one of Intamin's newer hypercoasters. An example is Hyperion at Energylandia, which, spoiler alert, did not make this list. The station though is really cool, but the trains aren't top 10 worthy in my opinion. But I'm getting a little ahead of myself. Anyways, the train design is amazing. The detail that Wallaby Belgium did deserves a round of applause. You also have a fantastic layout with a DC Rival style drop followed with an amazing airtime hill. The one element that looks kinda sluggish is the non-inverting Cobra roll. That element itself is really cool and wacky, but execution fell short. After that, the back-to-back airtime hills reminds me of an RMC like Steel Vengeance for example. Both rides have similar endings where I'm like, okay, when's this gonna stop? This coaster overall is magnificent. So let's go to the coaster that I actually rode about a week ago at the time of this recording. It's Iron Gwazi. I'll talk about my trip up to this park next week, but this coaster lived up to the hype and exceeded it. The trains are unmatchable too. Even though the theme is kind of lazy, the train is so sleek. This is one of the shorter RMCs, which is one of two complaints that I have about this attraction. This ride is at least 30 seconds shorter than my favorite RMC, Steel Vengeance, so I do prefer Steel Vengeance because I do prefer a longer experience over an action-packed and short layout. But I still love this ride. It is absolutely worth it to go to Busch Gardens. I will try every visit to get at least one lap on this coaster. As of now, I only got one ride because the dispatches were slow and was running two trains. But anyways, the next place spot will be given to a rather unknown Intamin launch coaster, but some of you might have heard about it. It's Steel Dolphin. Why I say that this is kind of unknown is because it's in China, but I'll talk about Chinese coasters another time. This is a family blitz coaster, so think of Chinese cheetah hunt with a shark theme. The trains are actually strikingly stunning. It's like a whale but in full medieval armor. I love the train, but for the ride itself, it's a great coaster. It has an action-packed layout with a great overbank and some launches. You also cannot forget about the creepy looking shark as the train dives into the tunnel. The attention to detail is spot on. Another intimate creation with the beautiful train design is Velocicoaster at Islands of Adventure. I bet you knew this coaster would be on this list, but I had to put this amazing creation on this list. Just like Tron, the train design is so futuristic. Seeing those light blue lights when the train goes through the layout is a spectacle, but at night it's just unmatchable just like Tron. It's so gorgeous at night when the train flies right next to you or even over you like on the stall or the first and fourth wave turn. This coaster has everything, but I'm not going to list all of them because I've done it before. I'll absolutely get a ride on this intimate masterpiece when I visit Universal. And now, it's time to unveil the number one spot, but it may not come as a shock to some people. It's of course Gotham City Escape. This is easily the best roller coaster train in my opinion. It's because it's so sleek, way more sleek than Velocicoaster. It looks like a modern day Batmobile, and Park Warner knocked out the park for this train. For the ride, it's amazing. You accelerate a fast launch at the beginning to a slow 0G roll. One thing that all modern day Intamin Blitz coasters have are very slow elements at the start, and Gotham City Escape does the same thing. Then the second and third launches are a powerhouse. The top hat afterwards just works into the ride experience department and Skyline department. The Park Warner Skyline has changed because of this coaster, and for the element itself, it just works because it's synced up to some audio, and it's great. Arguably the best moment of the attraction is the airtime hill after the top hat. You at least get negative 2 Gs of force. That is absolutely wild. Then everything else in the layout is fantastic. I also like the theming too. This coaster easily tops the list of the top 10 best roller coaster trains. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to give it a big thumbs up, and make sure to subscribe too. I have more videos coming up soon, and you should check them out when they're uploaded. So if you made it to the end, you're a king or a queen, and make sure to keep that adrenaline pumping, and thanks for watching.